I tried to deny my feelings for you, I know our friendship will be true, but we have yet to spend some time together. I'm so glad I met you. Maybe I need some time to myself. Maybe I need a friend or two. We can have them ask Paul questions. Whew, good luck. We're back. Okay, thank you so much. All right. Well, and now we have 19 people rejoined us. Call the Nielsen's, Paul.
But it's the best 19.
It's a hardcore 19. Am I wrong, Paul?
These are the engaged people that you want.
Yes.
That's right, the hardcore. Working now. Yeah, we can hear Paul. Okay. Shoots, let's do it. Okay, thank you. Yeah, right on. Let's see. Okay. We picked up another viewer.
Hey.
Yeah, there we go. Darlene, fancy seeing you here. Woo, there we go. Okay, shall we try to do the second episode? I'll have to go find the first one that we did.
The second segment.
I mean, the second episode segment. I'm all discombobulated. This has been a Hammer Jang Gang production.
Truly.
Thank you, Kevin. He is now in charge of marketing. Hi, Valerie, all the way from Washington. Hey, the internet broke. I know. You put Paulo got the smile on the internet. Can I handle? Oh. OG Sumo Vibe coming in from San Francisco. Mahalo, my brother. Check out OG Sumo Vibe, by the way, on Twitch. And you want to go for the eclectic music blend he puts out there. All right, so let's bring in Paul, okay? Hold on, Paul. We're going to come back, and it's going to be your segment, 8 minutes, okay? You ready? Get nervous. Here we go. I know. Hold on. Boom, here we go.
Mo'ocam.
Huh? Oh, yes. We go Mo'ocam so we can find it in the edit. Here we go. We go. Let's let that sit for a while. Mm-hmm. Yes. Can you hear Paul now, Andy and James? Yes. It came back and we can fix. In fact, Gil Soto from Texas says, yes, can. Okay. So here we go. I go back here. Hold on. Go back here and then get ready for this. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. And you know the thing I love about this show, it goes so smoothly.
Always.
Like we just, we took that little break and now we're back without a hitch. Yeah. Folks, your television viewing experience just went up a notch because we have for you none other than a Hawaiian comic, right? That's right, from Hawaii, now traveling the world. Please help me welcome Mr. Paul Ogata. Paul!
It's working.
Say again?
It's working.
Yeah, I think so. And Nani, let me know if Paul's volume is loud enough. It's changed a little bit. So, Paul, you were in Vegas last night. Thank you for risking your life to be here today.
That's what it's all about, man. Risking death for the sake of Twitch viewership.
Yeah, well, you were at was it the MGM?
Yeah, at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club at the MGM Grand. Brand new location. Used to be down in the basement. Now it's right there in casino level, and it's a really beautiful joint. If you're in Vegas, stop by. Catch a show there.
I would love to. Have them call me, would you?
Oh, yeah.
So you're looking for any funny Samoans? I might know one.
So you were there, and then you drove through the snowed out pass.
Yeah, well, the previous night it was snowed out, and
Okay.
last night when I drove through, there were still some snow remnants, but easily traversable uh, via automobile.
So you know what? When your name, you'd be surprised how often your name came up. Today, I was doing some morning radio shows to pimp out this Blue Note gig I have coming, and people say, "Yeah, I remember back in the day it was you and then Paulo Gata and what's Paul doing now?" I said, "What isn't he doing?" You know, what are some of the exotic places you've performed stand up in, Paul?
I've done shows in a chemical weapons disposal facility. Uh, did a show on an aircraft carrier with the Green Bay Packers.
Wow.
Wow.
Did a show in Pakistan next to the American embassy. Uh, all over, man. Wherever there's a stage, I'll go. It doesn't matter. That's what we do, right? As comics, if there's a show, we go.
We go, but is that part of some, military thing that to for the troops, or I don't know what they call it?
Oh, all of that is separate from the troop stuff. I'll go wherever they are. I've done shows in a war zone, Afghanistan, all over Afghanistan, actually, in the Middle East, everywhere. Um, but the Pakistan thing was weird. It was a regular show for civilians, and it was the State Department told me not to go. My wife
What?
told me not to go, and my parents flew up from Hawaii to California to tell me not to go, and that's how I knew I had to go.
You just love Pakistani food that much?
Yes. I went to the Pakistani McDonald's in Karachi, and they're very generous. I ordered a quarter pounder with cheese, French fries, and a large vanilla shake, and absolutely for free. I didn't even ask for it. They gave me explosive diarrhea, Andy. So
Oh,
very nice.
as a bonus. Usually
Yeah.
they used to give away toys, but now,
Well, in America, it's just regular diarrhea, right?
hey, do you have any plans to come home and do any shows?
I'd love to. I always want to. That's I travel on other people's dime, so wherever I can get a show at, that's where I visit.
Look at this. GB says Paul would go. There we go. Hey, Paul, when you're doing these shows in these exotic places, now I'm guessing you're not speaking Pakistani. It's an English show, and how do they advertise that? Come see an English-speaking comic.
That's exactly how they advertise it. American style English language stand-up comedy, and people have the internet, so they know they get it. They know what they're getting, and the people who don't understand it, obviously, that mostly they don't show up. Sometimes they do. I did a show in China, and a whole busload of Chinese visitors came to the show. And once they realized they couldn't understand it, they just turned their chairs around and started having loud conversations with themselves during the
Oh,
show.
The worst.
oh,
That's the worst.
that is the absolute worst. Have you ever been heckled in a language you don't understand?
All the languages, man. I had Chinese triads come right up to the stage in Macau, and I don't know what they said, but it seemed pretty serious. The guy jabbed his cigar right at me into my face, and then left. So
Wow.
I'm lucky to be alive, I guess.
That was the only weapon he had, though, was this cigar, right?
The only visible weapon, I don't know what they got guns everywhere. That's
Oh
the one he
man,
chose to brandish.
look at this. Paul's Pakistani is surprisingly strong. There
It's
you go.
Urdu.
Oh, good reason to go. So, Paul, I mean, I wanted to ask you something. In San Francisco, there was that prestigious comedy competition years ago. What was that?
It was the San Francisco International Stand-Up Comedy Competition, or
Yeah,
San Francisco International Comedy Competition. And in the past, finalists were people like Robin Williams, Ellen DeGeneres.
yeah,
Um, People who won it were me and Dana Carvey, Sinbad,
yeah.
people like that.
Amazing. And um, when you did that, everyone went, okay, this is it. Paul's got a series. He's gonna be doing movies. He's gonna be doing all this kind of stuff. At the risk of doing what happened. Was it a choice to travel instead of doing those things? Did the offers come in?
Well, back in the day, that competition was a kingmaker, and in fact,
Yeah.
the myth was that second place was even better than first place. Like Robin Williams took second, and he exploded. No one even remembers the guy who took first that year. That Robin Williams
Wow.
took second. Dane Cook took second that year that he participated, and he exploded. Uh, so, but it lost its
Luster?
cachet, I guess, in show business and its
Yeah.
ability to launch people. So I did get an offer to do a movie after I won, but it was a movie with Ron Jeremy,
Wow.
and it is true. You can look at it
It
online. It's
was
called
true. Hey, Paul,
Corn
guess
Dogs
what?
the Movie.
We got to take a break here, but we're going to be right back and talk about how you messed up and won that competition when you should have took second place. We'll be right back with more of the Daily Pigeon and Paul Ogata and James Money right after this. Don't go away. Ron Jeremy. All right. Okay. Let me go to Mo'ocam so I can find it in the edit
Click, click.
and go to stop and reset. And then now we're coming up on 3 here. Yeah, Paul, I got to. This is the internet part here, right? And then C Honda is saying, "Welcome, Raiders." Yeah, thank you for the raid, you guys. I'm sorry I'm on 8 platforms here, so I couldn't acknowledge the full-on Twitch thing there. But thank you, gang, for joining us. You know. So what happened with this movie with the Ron Jeremy? I mean, was it a legit flick or was?
This is a movie. It's called Porn Dogs, and what they did is they filmed dogs in intimate moments, and we did the voices, kind of like March of the Penguins, or Farce of the Penguins. We
Yeah.
did that. So it was Ron Jeremy. It was Marilyn Chambers in her last motion picture before she passed away.
Yeah.
Porn legend Marilyn Chambers. I was able to rope your friend Paul Rodriguez into it, though. He plays the Chihuahua.
Oh. Yeah, OG Sumo Vibe was asking, who's Ron Jeremy? Well, essentially a porn star, and one of the, I guess he was in the most movies ever or something. And it's funny how a lot of people look at him and go, huh? Right? But this, actually a pretty funny idea, but I didn't hear much about the movie.
It won awards at the Berlin Underground Porn Festival. And it very niche festivals. It did well. Look, don't ever watch this. If you get a chance, you probably should not watch it.
Yeah. It's one of those, Paul, I watched that movie. You owe me an hour and a half of my life.
Well, you've been warned, so I don't owe you anything.
Well, it's like it's funny because with Ron Jeremy, it's probably neither here nor there. It's not porno enough and it's not clean enough. It's in that weird, middle ground, Who like Ron Jeremy, aka the Hedgehog. Did he play the Hedgehog?
I think that was his
Well,
nickname.
he
Oh,
played.
hey, Photo Luke. Hey, are you better? Hey, Photo Luke, we gotta have you on, okay? I know we did that other interview, but we never have TV back then, so stay tuned, bro. You're on deck. So what else?
I
What
love the
else?
Mickey Mouse shaka hand that pops up because is it really a shaka if you've only got 4 fingers, or is it the rock hand?
Well,
Mm.
here, design here. It's still a shaka. If as long as there is a thumb and a pinky involved.
So it's not the number of fingers you have;
No,
it's the ends.
It's the and look here. I mean, see what I'm saying? There's 4 fingers. And the reason that law is in place is because Hamana, the original guy who created the shaka, right? You heard this story, right, Paul? He worked at Sugar Mill. He lost these 3 fingers. And when he said hi to people, he'd go, "Hey, how's it?" And he always put the back of his hand to who he was doing so they wouldn't see that he was missing his fingers. And the kids, because he also made sure kids weren't truant and cut out of school and stuff, the kids would go, "What? Brother, stay." And it became a signal like, "Hey, brother, stay," or everything's okay. And that's how the shaka started,
So the
Yeah,
Frank Fosse stickers were very insensitive.
insensitive, culturally insensitive.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah, because it was appropriation, let's face it.
That's his thing, right? That's what he was. That's what he's about, right?
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. Hey, there's Corey Titterman from Seattle over there. We have Kermit Apio on deck, by the way, right? Don't
Yeah.
we? At some point, he's going to be there. He plays Kihau Alo with Corey
Oh,
in Seattle quite a bit. In fact, here's Kaela saying, "Hey, how's it, Corey?" Okay, so you want to do another segment? Anything you want to talk about, pimp out, or showcase in this next segment?
Well, I've got nothing to pimp out, but yeah, we could talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Okay, he's going to leave it to me. We're
good.
in trouble.
Oh, you sure? I was gonna say good hands, but
No, no, no. You kidding? Did you see the way I handled that first segment? I actually killed his sound.
I'm trying to bring up your energy. I'm trying to motivate you. Hey, you're doing a great job, Andy. Let's keep going.
Bring up my energy.
Well, I like to drink this Hawaii volcanic water, which is made in a recyclable bottle.
Really?
Yeah, I drink it all the time. It's delicious.
Do you always drink it when you're wearing your Oahu Golf attire
Yes.
shirt?
And while I drink my Hawaii volcanic water, I wear my cool Oahu Golf apparel T-shirt.
He's got more people giving him stuff. You know what I'm saying? And dig this, Paul. These shirts that from golf attire that he wears, right? He was performing, and they went, "We need a 6X model." I'm serious. And they gave him these. But you wear these shirts because we want people in Hawaii to know that we have 5 and 6X sizes available. So, Paul, if you ever need a 6X shirt,
Yeah, because I just bought a new king size bed and I need fitted sheets. So
Well, the corners still come up every now and then. It's so frustrating, but you might need a 7X. But
Right.
it can cover a Ford Explorer, so yeah.
or if you want to go camping.
Yeah.
Okay.
well, I'd like to make a product placement for my Martin and MacArthur Koa Wood Apple Watch band.
Oh, very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. Which Apple Watch do you have? The Ultra?
I'm not a mountain climber, so this is just the. I don't even know what series this is. Oh, is that?
My wife gave me the Ultra for my birthday, right? Because it's Christmas Eve is my birthday, right? And I went, what? But now I feel like, climbing Mount Everest, going 100 meters under and just, running a marathon. It's an amazing watch.
Well, you said meters. You've changed, Andy.
I'm international. I'm hanging out with a globetrotter. I have to pretend I actually. Okay. Let's do more TV. So this is 3. Okay. Go to Mo'ocam. Come on, baby, come back up. Oh, there, it's working today. Something's working. I don't believe it. Okay, and then we go back here. Boom. And I'm going to start the timer and then think of something interesting to ask Paul. Here we go. And we are back with more of the Daily Pigeon and James Monty sipping his tea from
Yes.
his Daily Pigeon cup with his pinky finger extended.
Because I'm a sophisticated sole.
Yeah, and that's why you express yourself with the half shaka.
Yeah, small kind.
Small
Small
kind.
kind. Not too much because it looks aggressive. So
Yep.
Small kind.
I don't see aggression in you.
Because it's only half shaka.
Oh, that's
See?
it. Amazing. And what's also amazing is that we were able to ask Paul Ogata to join us, globe-trotting comic from Hawaii, and he agreed. Evidently, he's never seen the show. So let's go. Let's bring him in before I lose the sound again. How's it, Paul? Mahalo for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, Paul, when you're traveling, how often do you drive as opposed to fly? Now you can't drive to Pakistan, of course, but within the United States, because I remember you and I doing a gig one time, and you went, man, I'll just drive. Do you like to drive?
That one was like an 8.5 hour drive to get to that show I did in Hayward, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was a long drive. Mostly I fly these days. When I first started, I put like 200,000 miles on my truck, driving all over the place. But now it's mostly flying. Doing international shows. If I'm doing shows in Hong Kong or Australia or Malaysia, these are all airplane gigs, right?
Do you drive when you get to these places?
No, because a lot of times they drive on the wrong side of the road, and I don't have that confidence, man. I would just smack into people. Sometimes you go to strange places. I did shows in Myanmar, or formerly Burma, and over there they had a military general that took over the government, and overnight he mandated that people stop driving on the British side and started driving on the American side. So now to get on
Wow.
freeways, you have to do a U-turn to get on the wrong way on ramp to get where you want to go. It's very strange out
How many accidents were there?
there. Overnight, I don't know, probably half the country, but they're used to it now.
Well, also because the driver is still on the other side of the car, so
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I was going to say that the steering wheels, nobody changed their cars, so they're, someone told me one time when you go to these, because I was in a place like that one time, and they said just make sure you are next to the line. If if the line is on the other side, you're in the wrong direction. So,
wow.
Or
man.
take Ubers. That's what I just take an Uber, and hopefully you'll get there. Like in Indonesia, on the Uber app, they have the cars, and then on the end there was a picture of a moped. It's called Uber Motor, and somebody will pull up on a moped, and you hop on, and then you go to your location.
I don't think I can use that.
James,
I might need a couple mopeds.
they pull up on a Clydesdale. Oh, we looking for James Money?
That's be me.
Yeah.
We go.
Oh man. So, where you say you're living between like Los Angeles and San Francisco now, right?
Los Angeles and San Diego.
Oh,
It's
and San
Southern
Diego.
California wine country.
Ah.
Okay.
Sounds fancy, but the wine isn't very good.
How did you happen to settle there?
Well, we got dogs, and we wanted a bigger yard for our dogs, so you could get a bigger yard here as opposed to in the big city.
And the prices, I'm guessing, are favorable.
Yeah, well, not anymore. I don't know what happened. The houses they shot up like 200% in cost.
Wow.
Same thing here. I mean, I actually wrote a joke, by the way, today on the radio. This guy goes, Andy, you do topical stuff. What about milk prices? I don't know if you heard, but here in Hawaii, a gallon of milk is $8 now. Okay, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I said, what are you kidding? $8? The other day I saw a cow driving a Mercedes. I was like, what are you kidding? But the same thing with the housing exploded, and what's happening too is a lot of the people who are on fixed incomes, their house doubles in price, they can't afford the taxes, and it's just, and then they're going, well, it's not fair. I'm not, I didn't, just because someone built a mansion next door to me doesn't make, how's that my responsibility? But anyway, it's basic Hawaii stuff. What do they say? The median. What is the word? Not medium.
Median.
Median
With an
price
N.
for a home over here is 110. No,
A million.
a million one.
Wait,
Wow.
they said it came down to just under 1 million recently.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
snap up some property. Well, you know,
It's
yeah.
at an all-time low at 999,000.
Paul, with as much as you're on the road, and I know you're still working the clubs and all that, how have things changed in the last 10 years?
It's now with the proliferation of internet platforms, you got people who put out funny 30-second videos where they're not necessarily doing stand-up comedy, but it's a funny video, and now clubs are booking those people, and their 10 million followers, hoping those people would come to see this act at the
Yeah.
comedy club, and they do. The people show up to watch these internet funny people, but it's a different animal, as you know, when you're on stage and you got to construct a set for an hour or 45 minutes.
Sure.
It's and all you know how to do is 30-second funny skits on video. People sometimes leave with a different feel for what stand-up comedy should be.
Well, you know what? That happened to Bulaia. Remember when he was very funny and then stuff, and then people booked him. The place is packed. I remember standing off stage with him, and he goes, "Andy, I don't have an act." And I went, "Good luck, young man. I can't help you. I surely, can't write one for you in the next 30 seconds. But I tell you what, we're going to go away. We're going to come back again, and we're going to talk about the effect of social media on stand-up comedy, and how I get asked, "Oh, really? You want to play our club? How many followers do you have?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, 60,000. Oh, call us back when you reach 100,000. It's amazing. Anyway, we'll be right back after this with more of Paulo Gata. No go air. And we stay frozen like this through the whole commercial break, Paul. Yeah, that's the expression. Hold that one right there. There's the avatar. That's the thumbnail. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's funny because I think the last time you performed at Blue Note,
Yeah.
Paul and I were in the green room, and we were
Really?
there was some visitors. I think what's it? Keely So Silly and a Clown in 808.
Oh yeah, that's right. Those kids.
And they came over and they wanted to talk to you because they were fans, and they said,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, we're comedians." And you kept asking them, "Oh, what club do you work out of?" And they kept saying, "Oh, Instagram." And
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
No, what club do you work out of?
Right.
And me and Paul were sitting there. It's funny because I
remember that. I
made
got-
a comment to Paul, and then Paul was like, "Yeah, we're acting a little stuck up, aren't we?"
Well. Not only that, the guy goes to me. Well, on Instagram, I can make one post and make $500. Do you remember him saying that to me? Right? He goes, I on Instagram, So I went, really? Do it. I want to see that. And all of a sudden, why do you want to play clubs if you can do that? And, in one post on Instagram and stuff. And that's what kind of bugs me. And we'll talk more about that when we come back and stuff about the first. I don't want to mention this on the TV part, but that's what happened when Def Comedy Jam got popular. Do you remember that show? Right.
On HBO. Yep.
And you would tell people, "Well, I'm a comedian," and they go, "Oh no, we can't have that. There's children in the audience," and they thought that was stand-up comedy, And to some degree, that's what these internet guys are doing. You heard about what Tumua's success, right? Did you hear about all this, Paul?
Oh, I've seen it. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he sold out the NBC Arena, 6,000 people, 4 times in a row. What? Huh?
One, and then 2 shows.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm talking about the ones before this last run.
Oh, it was 3 times at the concert hall.
Oh, 3 times that sound. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Only reason I know because I was there.
Well, you were the opening act, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. So you know what? I give you all the credit.
Oh, thank you.
Gotta be you.
It has to be.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
with
you know,
Chamua, it's a different case because he was a stand-up comic who then did these internet videos
Yeah.
and exploded. So he could do a show. He knows how to
Yeah.
do that.
bingo.
But a lot of these guys are just, hey, let me film myself playing a prank on my wife, and then
Yeah.
now they got 10 million followers. And how does that translate to a comedy show? It doesn't
Well,
really.
what I want to ask you about, without naming names, is how some of those sets went.
Yes, I wanted to ask that
You know,
too.
and where did they were they middling? Were they opening? Were they headlining? You
All
know,
right.
because I can't imagine one of these guys headlining and somebody like you middling and follow this, brah. You know. So anyway, don't answer. We're going to save that wonderful dialogue for this next segment. Yeah. Okay. But am I on the right segment? This is 4, right?
Yep.
Okay, 4. Okay. Let's go to just a few of the chat things. Just like how video killed the radio star.
Video killed the radio star.
Oh, yeah, he is a Pussycat 59. That's like my dog's haha. Keone Nunes, I knew it. Lucky Ducky with all the Thai perks. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, here's Keone. Hey, how's it? Keone was on. He just did
Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa's tattoos on the side of his. He does the traditional tapping. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
That's who that is. And
But it was funny because I had a friend who said, "Oh, they were doing something with Jason Momoa, and then they had to stop filming because he had to go to Thailand for a tattoo." And I didn't know it was Keone.
Yeah.
I didn't put that together until we interviewed Keone. I was like, "Oh, he's the reason he went to Thailand."
yeah, and the thing is, when he was when Momoa was on the Tonight Show talking about it, I'm sitting there going, wonder if he's going to mention Keone's name because Keone, went to high school with me, Y&I, and all that kind of. Hey, and Keone asked him not to mention his name.
Humble.
Look at that look. Huh? I tell you what, that's full on.
Oh, Keone came to Hawaii
Yeah. Yeah, no,
to do the tattoo.
yeah, Keone and then Jason came here because Jason was here shooting that movie which is part of what he wanted. No, I went to Hawaii. Yeah.
Keone, if he said your name on the Tonight Show, you could have had 100,000 new followers.
That's exactly the reason I don't think he wanted it.
Yeah. Understand. Knowing Keone now, I can see exactly why he would.
All of a sudden, you got Michelle Pfeiffer. Can I get a cat on my neck? Or whatever. Ooh, hey, Dazzy Lad. We don't think we've seen Dazzy Lad here before. How's it, Dazzy Lad? How's he, brothers? There we go. Okay, we're going to talk more about internet and how and the effect of some of these these guys who had followers and no act. I can't wait to hear it. Let's dish.
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh, the tea is coming out.
Okay. More cam so I can find this. I do this on Paul so that when I'm editing, because this show's an hour and a half, I can find the segments for television. Okay, let's well, welcome to the crazy fun Hamajang people. Haha, is Paul the twin of DJ Ping or what? What is that? Who's DJ Ping? I think is DJ Ping the twin of Paul Ogata?
It's a movie character.
Is he?
I believe so.
I don't know. Here we go. Gonna be a bumpy ride. That's right.
Oh,
Get your belts on. Here we go. Back. Okay. And wait a minute. Start. So I don't forget. And we are back. Thank you sincerely for joining us in my home studio and enjoying the trucks driving by on the road.
Yes, very big, large, noisy trucks.
That's right, because this is homemade television. Smell the freshness. And speaking of fresh, we're talking to Paul Ogata, who not only is fresh, but has some fresh comments about new comics who were social media stars and then found themselves on a nightclub stage. How's it, Paul? Was that accurate?
Hey.
Time for the tea.
There we go. So you got a guy, right? He's been pranking his wife with, silly soap, and he's got 1 million followers. And a nightclub says, "Come on in." He does it. Now he's on stage. How many times have you seen that happen?
Well, I've seen that a couple of times, and I've heard about it a bunch of times. And curiously, what you think would happen doesn't happen. What you think is going to happen is people come to this show at a regular venue at a comedy club and see this internet prankster do a show. But it's not regular people. It's all of this person's fans who love
Yeah.
seeing them online, and they don't care what this person is doing at a comedy club. They just want to see this person and be in their orbit for an hour and a half. So, and
What?
they don't ever come back to a comedy club unless this person is at the club. Uh, so the club makes money, but they're not building uh, an audience base for the club for regular comics. For
Mm-hmm.
the night, it's just the club is just one big phone screen where you're actually seeing your favorite TikTok person in person.
Yeah.
But
It's
what is
weird.
he? What does the person do on stage? I mean, I'm just trying to imagine, how do you kill an hour and a half if you don't have an act?
Just being a silly buffoon. That it's like you see these people at parties all the time, right? The crazy uncle or the weird cousin who just holds court basically in the garage, and everybody's
Yeah.
sitting on the coolers of beer, but this guy is just doing stupid voices or telling jokes, street jokes, um, and everyone's having a good time because they're there for that. These people are are here for the internet person, and everybody leaves happy. But here's what I've seen: sometimes when a comedian blows up on the internet and they only got that one good bit that you've
Yeah.
seen,
Yeah.
uh, and now they're being booked to headline a show at a club. That's when things can go sideways because regular comedy people come to that show and they leave thinking, oh,
Yeah.
this person was funny for 3 minutes out of 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And
It's like
sometimes
that.
people leave with a bad taste in their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that band with one hit, so they play it in the beginning and at the end of their set, and everything in between is, what is this garbage, right? But getting
Yeah.
back to the guy, the prankster on stage for an hour and a half, is it like opener, middler, and then this guy comes on afterwards, or is he just the whole show?
He's just the whole show, or he or she, or whoever these internet people are. Sometimes you'll have, I've seen it where there's a actual stand-up comic opening, and the audience is not there for that. They're disinterested.
What?
They're talking. They boo because that's not what they're there to see. They're not there to see stand-up comedy. They're there to see their favorite phone
Yeah.
idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, it's the fans of the person just there to
Really?
over that person.
Oh man.
So, which for the club is bad because the culture of stand-up comedy, they're selling it for to put a get people in the venue and not
You know,
stand-up comedians.
This reminds me of that joke I do about comics don't get groupies, because to appreciate a comic, you have to think, and that filters out all the really good groupies.
Mm-hmm.
you know, but it's like, that audience, right? It's like, here you are doing all these interesting observations, and they're yelling, stick a lit flare up your butt. Come on. That's entertainment, It just drives me nuts. Okay.
Yeah, but Paul,
Anyway.
do you see like where that person does a second show or maybe comes back a few months and does, another run of shows? Is it the same energy or does it start to fall apart for them? Because
As long
they,
as they're hot online, they'll have the same amount of love in person at the show. Once they start to fall off online and they come back, then you see um, the downward spiral happen. But uh, I guess I got to start sticking a lit flare up my butt. Is that what's going on, Andy?
It's an internet sensation. It's the new challenge.
yeah. I mean, I don't think it has to be lit, but
Are you kidding? It's got to be lit. Right. That's where that whole slang came from. Hey, did you see Paul's act? It was lit.
it was fire.
It was fire. Now, you and your social media presence, has it affected how often you go on the, on the gram or TikTok or any of that kind of stuff?
The grand.
Well, it's interesting you brought this up. Sometimes clubs, when you inquire about getting booked there, they say, "Well, how many followers do you have online?"
Yeah.
Then you give them a number, and they're like, "Well, that's not big enough." And I'm like, "Your club only has 37 followers. Why? Why are
Yeah.
you
See, that's
putting
where I'm
so
at
much
now.
on me?"
Greg is trying to book me up on the mainland,
Yeah.
and they'll ask, "Oh, how many followers does he have on social media?"
No, I get asked that every single time.
It's crazy.
Right. And by the way, I have probably 60,000 right now, and they just, I'm going, well, I don't know, I thought that was kind of plenty people, but well, call me when you get 100,000 because they know a certain, they're all over the world or whatever. So, man, amazing. Do you think social media has hurt or helped stand-up comedy?
I think, like any leap in technology, it's helped uh, as much as it's hurt in different aspects. You've got people who have come to light who the world might not ever have known about before social media, and that's a good thing. But sometimes people who should not have come to light also come to light, and
Yeah.
that's also a bad thing. But so, like anything, you'll find positives and negatives about it. But overall, I think it's been a big, I don't know, equalizing factor,
Mm.
Sort of a double-edged sword.
if you will. Yeah.
We'll be right back with more of Paul Ogata and his observations about stand up, traveling the world, and what it's like to risk your life to be on a show like this. A brave man by any stretch of the imagination. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Aloha, Genge. I'm 13 minutes early on the goodbye.
I was just saying, you started to get poetic. It sounds, felt like it sounds-
Well, yeah, because we have like 4, 3, 2, bye.
Oh, there's his sponsor. He just drank it.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? I got to tell you.
This break is brought to you by Hawaii Volcanic Water.
Everything changes and everything changes and so do people and what they want. Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me. Wait a minute. To me, that Andy would get that. Followers? He's Andy freaking Bumatai. Yeah, you know what? Uh, it, it, it's funny how people say that, and I go, yeah, but you got to remember, during my hot period, all my fans were a little older than me, and I'm coming up on 70. So that puts them in the, sitting in their underwear looking at cars they can't afford on the internet at 8 o'clock when I want them at the show. You know what I'm saying? It's today on
Radio?
Rory Wild's show with Greg Hammer. I said, when I was 25, I remember thinking 70. God, it's so old, and here I'm about to turn 70, and I realized I was right because I gotta tell you, man, you know. But that would be an interesting topic. Aging out of comedy. I remember we had Brooke Lee, Hawaii's Miss Universe, right? And I remember interviewing her in the car, and she says, "Well, yeah, but when I turned 25, I aged out of most of the pageants, right?" Okay, wait, Gil. Where's Gil Soto's question? Hold on. I
There it
get a
is.
text here. Gil Soto says, Paul, how do you stay focused on the art of stand up with all the negative junk in the business?
There's negative junk in any business. You
Mhm.
just don't. You got to put on your horse blinders and stay focused on what you want to accomplish. I could spend all day arguing with other comedians online about any number of things, but that doesn't help me in anything I really want to do.
Mhm.
So I avoid that kind of drama, and then with all that extra time, I remain unproductive. No, there's, I play Diablo Immortal and I slay demons online. Uh,
No,
no, it's just like anything. Just stay focused on what it is, what that you want.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good answer, because that myopia you're talking about, I mean, I call it obsession, where people say, why don't you do another television special? Why don't you do more stand up? And I said, because, my horse blinders right now are focusing on this internet show that we're coming up on 3 years now doing, right? And this TV show, which by the way, Paul, was not my idea, The TV, the Channel 50 people came to me and said, "We love what you're doing on TV. I mean, on the internet. Would you like to put that on TV?" And I went, "You think it'll work?" And he says, "Well, let's give it a try." So that's what we're doing, you know.
Well, the funniest part is that they've actually seen a few episodes and they say, "Yep, that's exactly what we like."
Here, Poppy Cheney says, I was on a Southwest airline flight a year ago, and a male flight attendant, clearly from Hawaii, based on his Aloha spirit, we started talking, and he said, "Do you know?" And I said, "Do you know Andy Bumatai?" "Dude, brah, everybody knows Andy Bumatai." I guess he was retiring soon. It was at his retirement party, but
No,
it,
man.
it,
Everywhere I go, dude, people always ask me, "How'd you get your start?" And I say, there was one
Yeah.
guy. We had one stand-up comic in Hawaii, and it was Andy Bumatai, and everybody knew him. Everybody loved him, and
uh,
he was the king, man. And that guy, he helped me out a lot. And I'll tell anybody who listens that I owe it all to you, man.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it,
That
brother.
makes us
Thank
too,
you.
my friend.
Well, guess
And
what?
speaking
Look,
of,
this name might look familiar to you. K-How Jackson. You don't need to age out unless you choose to. The audience decides when you should hang up the mic, I guess. Oh,
did you perform under Kehao, a different last name, right?
she was K-How Baisho. And then she got married and she became K-How Jackson. Don't ask me how I was able to remember that. Back in the Lizard Lounge days, you were up there, weren't you? When we were playing that little weirdo club with Kamaka Brown, and oh my God, what good fun
But
we
it was
had.
a good gym, man. We had some good
We did.
workouts there.
We had some great workouts. Remember, every once in a while we'd say, "Okay, you can't do any of your old material." Remember, we'd have those days, and we'd all get in there and just die like a rat. Oh man, it was, and it was, but it was the gym, as Paul just put it, and that was the best way to do it.
Yeah, it's like you said, where you need to have that struggle so that you know how to work out of things. And then when you get to the bigger rooms and venues, it's a lot easier
Yeah,
because you already have that, you have the chops.
and you've raised your pain threshold. So that you can tolerate those long periods of silence. My favorite line is, "Pardon these big pauses, is it's where the laughter usually goes." Okay, so are we on five? This is
You're on the correct one.
we are five. Hold on, let my dog stop insulting the people who have the gall to walk by my house. Oh, can you believe it? Okay, so Mo'okam, we're gonna come back with Paul Ogata. Okay, there we go. I can find it in the edit now. We're here. I start the timer. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Andy Bumatai.
And I'm James Money.
And we are talking to a guest that's talking to us about what it's like playing clubs all over, how social media affects stand-up comedy. But what I want to ask Paul Ogata, how you, brah? Oh,
Doing good.
doing good.
Good.
You know, as much as you work, okay, do you still search out the open mic nights to try stuff out, or do you just put it on in the middle of a set on a Saturday night?
You gotta find open mics. That's the birth of comedy. That's where ideas become jokes, and jokes become bits, and bits become sets. That's where it all happens. But if you're working a lot, it's hard to find an open mic. So this is bad advice for new comedians, but here's what I usually do. I will try new material right up front at a show. And I'm not saying it's good advice. That's what I
Yeah.
do. And that way you're kind of motivated to give it the best first iteration, so that it can succeed right up front. And also because you don't have the built-in trust and love if you bury it in the middle of the set. I know a lot of people want to put it in the middle
Yeah.
because then you can get a head start of laughter on it. But I feel like I'm stupid enough to do it right up front. So um, that's
And
what I
that,
do. Or some cities have shows, like I was just in Vegas, and on Saturday nights at midnight, there's a show called The Stool, and it's a pro comic open mic. So all the comedians
Wow.
visiting town performing that week go to this open mic and try new material. And the audience knows this, so they know that they're getting actual professional comics trying new material. It's not some guy that a meth
sure.
head off the street trying jokes.
Yeah. You know, trying a new joke out right up front, right? It is. I can see the thought behind that, because now you got 45 minutes to bail yourself out with stuff that works. You
Also,
know,
that, yes.
yeah. I did a show recently at the Stand Up Honolulu, right? And the cover charge was $10, and I said, "This is a workout show, folks. See this yellow pad? I'm gonna try stuff out, because you can't do this in a room by yourself. You have to stand on a stage and annoy people. The only way it works."
Yeah, it's other jobs you can practice it in private, out of the view of the public. But if you're a doctor, you practice on dead people. You cut dead people open. But here in comedy, we cut heads open every day on stage in front of people. It's live brain surgery for the first time.
Wow. I think it was D.B. White who said, comedy is like a frog. You can dissect it and find out how it works, but it kills the thing. You know, when you try stuff out, you say you try to search out the open mic nights and stuff, right? How does what am I trying to say here without being offensive? I go to these open mics. The comics on either side of me are so raunchy,
Yeah.
and their language is so bad. I come in there, I look like Peter Pan, how do you deal with that? Because today, without, at the risk of sounding like an old, hey, you kids, get out of my yard, the language drives me crazy.
Well, you are so lucky because you can roll up to somewhere, and like I said, everybody knows Andy Bumatai, so you're going to get their attention. You're going to get their you've got that built-in brand. But for someone like me, if I roll up, it's just if it's a regular open mic, like you said, stocked with people just
Yeah.
doing raunchy, horrible stuff. Um, at that point, it's just me trying to get the words out of my mouth, and forming sentences, and committing that to brain and muscle memory, so that
Ah.
in a better circumstance, you can redo it with greater effect.
Yeah, so when you find yourself in an audience that would appreciate something like that, you've said the sentence a couple times, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important to just feel the words get out of your head like that, and
yeah.
that's part of the process.
Wow.
Yeah, I usually like to go to open mics and try to bomb on purpose, but just to say the new bits, just to say and then try to bomb on purpose. I don't know if it's maybe like I'm playing the odds so that when I do real gigs, they'll actually hit there. I've had one, but I don't go to the open mics as I
Yeah.
go I get put up in like feature shows and then I'll do it there. I'll do my new material. I'll try to bomb and try to dig my way out of it the last 5 minutes. I've went to one place and just talked about Polynesian cultures and I had no punchlines. and talked about it for 12 minutes.
You know, James, you see, that's where the experience I've gained over the years comes in handy. I don't have to try and bomb. You know, it's just second nature to me now. I just,
When people see me, they feel like they have to laugh or else I'll beat them up. So it's like a
Paul, do you ever hear that story I tell about James when I first met him? And we were at a showcase I was doing, and I was talking to him, and James says, Andy, can we not stand by the door and go inside because people keep handing me their ID?
Well, it doesn't help. I always wear black shirts.
Oh man, where's your favorite place to perform, Paul?
Well, over the last 15, 16 years, I've been doing shows in Hong Kong and built up a pretty good audience there. So takeout comedy in Soho in Hong Kong is kind of like my second home
Wow.
as far as comedy is concerned. But in the States, I just got through doing Brad Garrett's Comedy Club at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, and that it's a beautiful club, thoughtfully designed because Brad's a comic, so he knew what would work for comedy, and they treat the comics well there, and the audiences are so great. So I really enjoy that club. But there are a
What
gazillion awesome places to play. Just get folks, just get out and go see a show at a comedy club.
let's talk about how important the aesthetics of a comedy club is when we
Yes.
come back, because so many people, you know, they put up a little stage in a corner of a restaurant and put a mic there and go, we're a comedy club. And it's like, no, guess what? You know what I mean? And some of the best comedy clubs are actual dumps. You know what I'm talking about? Remember the Comedy Underground in Seattle? What a great club that was. Amazing. We'll talk more about that with our special guest, Paulo Gata, when we return. Don't go away. Mocam, pink.
And don't forget the 6:30.
Okay, yeah, and then we'll go to this last segment. Paul is only is only 6:30, so let me. You know, it's funny about that. You know, there's a club here, and the guy goes, "Hey, listen, you know, I'd like to do a club that's good for comedy, right?" When I started pointing out, you know, just certain things like, you know, a good light, a good sound, you know, quiet people, dark, you know, not a you know a shitload of advertising on the back of you and all this kind of stuff. He's like, "What? I wanted to do something where I can serve dinner too, you know." And it's like, no, man, you don't get it, you know. Okay, there we go. I think I'm ready. You know, I mean, serious. You know, these. You ever play those gigs? They hire you, and then just before you go on, they serve the dessert.
Yeah.
It's like you can use this line if you want to, right? When I'm talking to the to people who booked me for these things, I'm saying, okay, this has to be this way, this has to be this way, this has to be this way, and so I don't come off like a diva. I say, and this is so that you get the value. You're paying the money, you want to get the value, you know, and it's true though, you know.
Yeah, but people don't know what they want. They just know, let's have a comedian, and then they go ahead and sabotage themselves. Like they'll have raffle prizes right before they bring you
Oh,
on, and everybody's like, yeah, yeah, I want a TV, and they leave.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Ah,
yeah. I did one of Erica's, or the first female comics of Hawaii. She had me host. I was at the Dragon upstairs,
yeah, yeah.
and then she had 8 women in a showcase. After the 4th one, she said, "We're going to take a break and have a band perform." And then we come back with the 5th person, and
After the band.
after the band with like 15 minutes
Yikes.
and hecklers in the front row, and I had to deal with it being the host.
Yeah.
So
I just played a gig, right? Augie couldn't do it, so he goes, "Hey, can you fill in? I got to do something else, and here's the money." I went, "Yeah, okay." I went down there to do the gig. I will not name the client, but basically they decided it would be a good idea to have all these under, I mean, like 3 and under kids in front of the stage, right? I mean, literally at my feet with toys and things and all this stuff and a bunch of, it was like, romper room. And they're screaming and yelling. It was like, oh, whose idea was this? But hey, you just tell jokes. What's the big deal? You know. What's
Augie
the,
knew what he was doing when he gave you that gig.
it's too funny. I think he did. Hey, when we come back, do you mind talking about some of the worst shows you've done? Or because, after a while you don't do that too, but then everyone, like me, I mean, this was 3 weeks ago, and I was just dying like a rat, with these kids. And this one kid, I swear to God, it was like this. Well, folks, the town was so small, the mice were, ah! When I plugged the truck, yeah! I said, who's teaching this girl to scream on the punchlines? How does that work exactly? But what happened was these kids were hearing the volume of the mic and they were like thinking they should be loud too. It was the weirdest thing. Anyway. And I'm over it now. What?
Did anything hit your in the head like, this is what I've come to?
No, I was thinking,
Do these parents know who I am?
Thanks, Augie. I appreciate this, No wonder. I think you were right, Paul. I think he did it on purpose. Let's see here. GB says, when I hear something funny, I better not have anything in my mouth because it could go airborne. The spit take guy. Whoa. Dirty Bees, crazy
aesthetics.
chat. Yeah.
Comedy aesthetics and some of the crazy places.
Yeah. And comedy stuff, crazy places, and that he's died. I mean, do you still have bad shows? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Comedy aesthetics and bad shows.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Mo'ocam, so we can find it. This is the last segment, Paul, and it's only 6 minutes and 30 seconds, so it's gonna fly by. Okay. Oh man. Whoop. Okay, and here we go. We're here, and let's start the timer. And we are back. Mahalo nui loa, because I know over the last few segments you were going, I wonder if there's anything else on. And you came back anyway.
Especially because we're on prime time.
Yes. Well, we're not only on prime time, but they rerun the show because people need to be punished.
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
We're talking to Paul Ogata, a world trotting, globe trotting comic, from Hawaii, and but one of your favorite clubs is in China. You've played Pakistan. We talked about the Brad Garrett's club that you like at the MGM in Las Vegas. Having done it as long as you do now, have you ever? You can tell I'm not comfortable asking this
In
question.
so many different places.
Have you? Do you still die every once in a while?
Yeah, you know what? It's not always the comedian. Sometimes it's circumstances. Sometimes it's the audience, and the roll of the dice will come up snake eyes every now and then. You'll get a bad show. It's just how it is. One time in Hawaii, I got hired to do a birthday party, and in Hawaii, the guest of honor, whether it's a birthday boy or girl, always has leis on them, and
Yeah.
you know whose birthday it is. Well, I show up to this party, and no one has leis on. So I was like, "Oh, where's the birthday boy?" And then somebody stood and said, "He's in the cake." And I said, "Is he going to jump out and say happy birthday to me?" And they said, "No, he died before this birthday party." But so we cremated him and put some of the ashes in the cake.
What?
And there's no coming back from that after that's
For
announced
both
at
of
a
you.
show.
Well, and they didn't serve cake.
Yeah, well, they served the cake later on, and that's everybody was down with that plan. They were going to eat this dude in the cake.
Was he like
So it was
tasty
awkward.
person? Was he a tasty person? Like,
Oh my goodness!
no disrespect.
Was he Captain Cook? Oh my God!
It's not like there's a femur bone sticking out of the cake. Like, I'm pretty sure they powdered him up and turned him into ashes.
But you know what? You're so right about sometimes, because you do an act, you do it for a year, you know it works, and then all of a sudden you're someplace and you go, I know this is funny. It just happens to be that there's, the birthday boy and the cake that's kind of killing the groove.
Wow. Birthday boy in
So
the
yeah,
cake.
sometimes things
It's
like that
killing the
happen. Other
groove.
times it's just straight up drunk people in the audience. One time in
Mhm.
Hong Kong, the USS George Washington came into port.
Oh,
The XO, like the second in command of the ship, came to my show one night. He had a good time. He went back, told the whole ship. The next night, the room was full of drunk sailors. And at the end of the show, this one guy in the front row kept interrupting and mouthing off, and I kept hammering him down. And
Yeah.
I guess he'd had enough of it. So he picked up his empty wine bottle and he
oh,
swung it at me. And I stepped back and I still felt it brush me. So had I not stepped back, he would have murdered me with
wow.
this bottle. So things happen, but you roll with the punches.
Yeah.
Man.
Where's security in that case?
Well, that was your Will Smith moment.
You should have took the hit. You would have been huge by now.
You know, you know,
Ah,
I have to say something. Was a huge Will Smith fan.
Yeah,
Huge.
was.
I watched everything he did. Loved the guy. Still do. But I drew a little line through his name when he slapped the comic for
Yeah.
telling that joke, and it wasn't that raunchy a joke.
No.
She had short hair. Hey, waiting for the GI Jane
Yeah.
to come. That deserves walking on and bang. You know what I'm saying? How did you react to that?
it was shocking.
Mm.
I didn't think it was real at first
Yeah, same.
because here's a comedian telling jokes on stage, and I've heard arguments for both sides of this over time, but ultimately it was a comedian telling jokes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about safe spaces in the world, but I think really the only last safe space should be a comedy show, a comedy stage, a comedy club, where a comedian should be allowed to make jokes. And if you are in the audience and you like it, then you laugh. If you don't like it, then you don't laugh. That's it.
Yeah. You don't get to vote.
Yeah.
You don't get to.
You don't get to hit somebody.
I tell people that laugh or don't laugh. Don't and vote. You know what I'm saying? Just because you don't like it, right?
The worst thing for me is hearing, "Oh," I'm like, "No, don't feel sorry. These are jokes. I'm very confident in myself."
Well, you know what? This goes back to Lenny Bruce, right? 1953, when he got busted for saying that 12-letter word, right? That remember? And he told the judge, Your Honor, I said it. I didn't do it.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's what it boils down to. They're just words.
Yeah.
And we are the court jesters and should not, get the wrath of the king because that's our job.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Well, but look, anything can happen at a comedy show, which is why you should go to live comedy shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if you can't, I've been posting some things that happen at my shows on my Instagram. It's Instagram, Paulo Gata, and little clips of riffing or interactions with the audience. And I hope you enjoy it. Just check it out. Go and
We'll see you on
adult language warning.
Instagram. And Paul, thanks for being here on the Daily Pigeon. Really appreciate it, brah. And sorry for the technical hiccups that I will edit out. And no one will know it ever happened. I promise you that. But they will know you were here, and we appreciate it. Mahalo, bro. Woo! I made it.
We did. Oh,
Uh-oh.
they can see where to.
Yeah. Here, well, I'll be able to find this here.
Yeah, I see a lot of your posts now, Paul. You're doing a lot of, like, you post a lot of crowd work stuff, I guess, so you don't burn material. But yeah, I see you dealing with the crowd a lot. And I think the latest one, you actually went after one a little bit.
No, you know what? I don't like to go after people in the audience because that's what people fear when they go to comic clubs. They don't want to be insulted. I try to celebrate somebody instead of attacking them and involve them still, but in a better way.
Did you know Shirley Hemphill well?
Never met her, but I always wish I did.
Oh, we got to be pretty good friends. She was here. Did you ever hear the story of how she got started?
No.
Okay, you're gonna love this. Okay, so she's a maid, right? And she's cleaning Flip Wilson's room,
Oh.
right? She leaves. Flip calls downstairs. The maid stole my Rolex. I have a gold Rolex. It was on the desk. The maid stole it, Shirley Hemphill, right? So they bring her back up to the room. He's there. You stole my Rolex and all this evil stuff. She was, no, I didn't. I didn't steal it. And then she looks behind the dresser and it had fallen behind and got wedged between the wall and the dresser. She said, here it is. I didn't steal it. Flip went, you know what? I'm so sorry. I tell you what, here's tickets to my show, Flip Wilson show. Come down and, check it out. I apologize. And she goes, oh, okay. So she goes down and watches this, right? She sees what he's doing. She says, I could do that. What's so hard about doing that, right? So she goes down to the Comedy Store, okay? I heard this story from her, by the way. I go to the Comedy Store, and I don't have an act, so I tell them, turn up the lights. What made me think of it when you said I celebrate people. So I start talking to people, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? Went pretty well, right? Meanwhile, back at the ranch, they're casting What's Happening, okay? They have the cast, all cast, they're ready to shoot. They have to shoot in a week. The main lady, the big black lady, dies. So they move the one up, and they have to find someone immediately to take the place of the person who got moved up to the lead. They
Wow.
go to the Comedy Store, find me a funny black lady. She's got to be big. Shirley walks on stage, starts yakking. That's it. Want to be in a series? Bam. She was a maid. A week later, she's series regular in What's Happening.
Wow. She was a
That's how
waitress. Huh?
fast it happened?
Bang. And she said to me, I am the luckiest person on earth, and I know it, and and celebrate that every single day. And she always did her stand-up that way. First thing she walked in, turn up the house lights. Amazing. And may she rest in peace.
Big Shirley, right? That she was the waitress.
She was the waitress.
She always talked trash to Rerun.
To Rerun. Yeah, I know. Really a nice lady too. Just wonderful. But anyway, man, that's how fast it happens for other people.
Hey, but before you go, Paul, you're talking about Brad Garrett's room, the aesthetics, and you're saying how it's made for comedy. Like, is it? Is it like they set it up perfectly for the crowd to be close up to people, or what is it?
The crowd is close up. There are no bad sight lines. In some clubs, the farthest seat away is 200 feet away, which is really very far for comedy. It should be intimate, right? But in this club, everyone's pretty much right up there at the stage. The stage isn't too high. It's not too low. It's
Ceiling's nice and low.
yeah, nice low ceiling. You've got comedy memorabilia around the room, or paintings of comedians, and it's a nice feel. I like it. It works well.
It's I used to do this thing. I said, all a comic needs is sound and light. And you'd be surprised how often 50% of our requirements don't show up.
Yeah.
Oh man. But you know what? It's you see a club like you just described, and I remember Kimo McVeigh, when he was alive, he used to say it's a velvet trap. You walk in there, you look at that club, and you go, I want to work here. Because it's just like driving a cool sports car or something. It just works,
Yeah.
Okay, one more story, and then we'll let people go. But I was playing Caesar's Palace, right, opening for the Beach Boys, right. I get out there and I do my set, and I walk off, and I died like a rat. I didn't hear one beep. I didn't hear anything. The guy goes, Oh, hey, congratulations, good set. And I went, what are you kidding? I didn't hear anything. He goes, oh no, this room is designed to be quiet because we have singers. Next, he goes, tomorrow we'll give you the Joan Rivers setup. I should have thought of it. I went, the what? He says, we mic the audience and run it through your monitors. And it's suddenly another world because you can time things, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Amazing. Ah, all the intricacies of stand-up.
Yeah.
All right, Paul. Thanks so much for being here. I know you're probably tired and want to get some Z's after that long drive.
No, hey, thanks for having me, guys. This was fun.
Thanks for coming on, bro.
And thank you, Hamajang Gang. Appreciate it. I'm sorry that we didn't do a lot of chat things today because I was. Hey, there's your writer friend, Michael.
Michael.
I should be outfitted with football gear for your next show to make a statement. Yeah, right. At least things. Music is life. Hey, Lono and Keone, two Waianae boys talking right there. And Thomas the Turtle saying, thank you, Paul. Lenny Bruce, thank you, masked man.
When you said thank you, Paul, it sounded like Carson.
I did?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Thank you,
Oh,
Paul.
maybe I was channeling the great one for Paul.
It wasn't the musician Paul, Carson's musician guy, was it?
No, that's Paul Schaefer. That was
Oh, that's Letterman.
that's Letterman.
Man, I'm getting all twisted.
And thank you for playing, James. Would you like to?
I'll just take my tasty Hawaii volcanic water and be on my way.
And I'll be on my way. Thanks, everybody. We're going to take off. Mahalo, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Aloha.
See you guys.